Hello and welcome to the Flix Forum podcast, where each episode we go back and we look at a Netflix original film in the order of release. Happy holiday season. This is our third day of our 12 Days of Christmas special, where we are putting out an episode every day for the 12 Days of Christmas. Today we have Netflix 348th film from 2021. It's the Indonesian drama called Jez and Anne. This one's directed by Rizky Belki and stars Junior Roberts, Hangini, and Roy Sungkono. I'm Jesse, and I'm your host. Thanks for joining me today over this festive season. As always, this episode will contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen Jez and Anne and you're keen on seeing it, give us a pause and come back a little bit later on, because we do jump into the fast flicks where we do a quick little summary of what the film is all about. So this one is about a girl and a boy who fall for each other. But does the fact that he has a controlling mother and is studying abroad mean their relationship is doomed? Question mark. Ooh, intriguing. Hopefully I've added a bit of intrigue to this. So again, if you want to check it out, go check it out, because this could be one that could be an interesting listen. This is an international film, so as often is the case, it's hard to find anything out about this film anywhere online about anything. All that I could work out was that this one is based on the best-selling novel of the same name by Rintik Sidhu, or Nadifa Ayla Zana. And from what I gather, it originated on Wattpad, which is one of those fan fiction sites. And apparently there are 2 more novels after this one as well. There's a follow-up mini television series in Indonesia for this film as well, and possibly covers some of these further novels, but I do know that it's some of the same characters, and apparently, or that the miniseries is, and it's about their return for a reunion. So very intrigued. The cast, crew, director, etc. got back on board after this film to make a miniseries. The miniseries, I think, was released on an Indonesian streaming service or a video-on-demand service, so Netflix did not pick up the television series for this one. The title, Jez and Anne, across the world, it's pretty much that. It's these 2 characters. In Portuguese, it was the only other sort of language that had a different title, and they called it Extraordinary Love. So, interesting title there, because this film, yes, it's about love. When you're watching this, there is no English dub for this either, and I know that should not impact our audience, because I know that you all watch the Netflix original international films in their original language, but just so you've got the heads up that there is no English dub for this one at all. This did hit Netflix worldwide on the 25th of February 2021. Probably noticed from our episode yesterday, that's about a 2-week break between Netflix original films. I think probably one of the biggest gaps that we're going to see moving forward. But this was filmed in Jakarta in Indonesia. There's 1 shot in the film, I think, in Berlin in Germany. What about awards? This did have 1 win at the Mayer Awards for the Best New Actress for Hangini, and it did have 2 nominations at the Indonesian Movie Actor Awards for Favourite and also Best Couple for Junior Roberts and Hangini in their characters of Jez and Anne. What are the critics and audiences saying about this film? On Rotten Tomatoes, it does not have a consensus. It does not have an audience rating. It only has 3 critic reviews, and these are all rotten. There's nothing on Metacritic for this film at all, so the only remaining things we've got are IMDb and Letterboxd. On IMDb, it sits at a 5.1 out of 10. That's only on 348 ratings, so not a big consensus there. 5.1 is still an okay result. Letterboxd, a little bit lower, 2.7 out of 5. That's on 1,300 ratings and has been logged by 1,800 people. So I'm guessing this one is not going to be one of the bigger episodes, because not many people have seen this film. So what are my early thoughts for this film? This is an absolute slog, and I'm not sure if it's the cultural differences that made it so hard to connect with anything in the film, any of the characters, any of the situations, but there's little to like about this film, including any of the romance that it preaches to have included in this film. I really did struggle with this film. So let's talk about the characters. There's an array of characters, including like family and side characters. I'm going to sort of combine them all into the 3 core characters in this film. Obviously, 2 of them are in the title, Jez and Anne. I'm going to start with Anne, because I don't like the idea that his name's first in the title. That sort of shows you the patriarchal world that we live in. I feel like it should be Anne and Jez. But anyway, so Anne, she is... and this is her film, really. This is her film, so I don't understand why she doesn't have top billing. But she's super organised. She's independent. She's focused on her study. She's so nice, you know. She volunteers her time to teach English to kids, because, she wants them to be able to better themselves because, more opportunities if you know English. She's also got a very dedicated friendship group who she seems to be the center of too. She's like the leader almost. We know her family struggles. Like her dad has had a heart attack, so he's a photographer. He can't work. He has another heart attack, so the family is struggling financially. So as well as studying to do medicine, so she can give some money to the family, she also takes on this side job at a coffee shop, which plays an important role towards the back end of the film as well. But that's where we have Jeez, who sort of comes along and adds a little bit of excitement to her world, I guess, because this is a popular boy at school that all of Anne's friends think's amazing. He's a musician or the lead singer of a band, but he struggles under the pressures of his own mother, who forbids him to play music and only allows him to focus on his study so he can go to the same college she did in Germany. She's bitter because her husband and Jesus' father left her, and for me, realistically, this guy's a creep. He pretty much stalks Anne until she does what he wants or goes out with him almost. And even when he leaves the country to go and study, he pays another guy to almost spy on her as well. Like, yes, he's got that swooning look and he's that, that heartthrob idea, but I'm not sure his methods are very commendable. The other character I'll talk about is Bayu. So Bayu becomes Anne's love interest in the back half of this film because Jeez obviously does what his mother wants and bails on Anne. He's the one that runs the coffee shop and allows Anne to work there and make some more money. And they build a connection through making coffee, I guess. And he does propose to her, so that sort of creates a love triangle to finish this film. The director, Rizky Belki. So 6 directing credits, all Indonesian. And obviously the interesting thing is that went on to direct 8 of the 10 episodes of the Jeez and Anne TV miniseries in Indonesia, and the same cast are all back for that as well. I'm not sure I'd dedicate 10 hours or however long it is to watch the follow-up for these characters, but that gives us a moment to talk about the scenes in this film. What are some scenes that worked? What are some ones that didn't? Some of the scenes that worked for me, they're not supposed to work. I laughed at them because I found them humorous, and they're not meant to be funny. So anyway, let's get into the scene. So there's a moment where Jeez, at the start, he gives Anne a CD of his music to listen to, and I like that idea of physical media, so that was good, but just the fact that she put it into her computer, it just felt so unrealistic. It was so weird. There's a scene where Jeez unbuckles Anne's helmet. They've been on this motorcycle, this moped or something, and he goes for a kiss and she just walks off. I thought that was hilarious. There's a scene where Jeez's mum, she meets Anne's family and then afterwards just calls Anne's family losers. I just thought that was funny. Jeez goes in to kiss Anne and his mum rocks up out of nowhere and just slaps him across the face. Poor guy. Then we see Jeez is packing his bag to leave Germany from studying to come home to visit Anne for his birthday because he's made promises about being there for her birthday, and his mum just rocks up out of nowhere. So he texts Anne and says, "Sorry, I can't come anymore. Mum's here." And Anne just picks up a chair in the coffee shop and throws it. So funny. And the one serious moment in the film that I liked is, after the 4 years of study, Jeez comes back home and he stands up to his mum finally, and he sort of tells her, he did what she wanted him to do. He got perfect grades. He followed her plans, but she's put all her hatred towards his father into him. And he goes on about, nothing's going to change the fact that he's his father's son, but he is her son. And he says, "I made mistakes, but don't hate me for other people's mistakes." So there was some quite powerful dialogue there, which was really good. I guess a few of those things that stood out for me aren't really good scenes anyway, but here are some more scenes that were very bad in this film. I'm sorry, this is going to go on for a while. There were 2 attempts in this film at showing some stand-up comedy. I'm not sure how anything being said was humorous, let alone funny. There was like some joke about jellyfish that it just did not translate at all. Anne and Jeez, they have their meet cute where she's trying to turn the power back on at this arts night that she's running, and she falls into Jeez's arms and he catches her, and it's just like so obvious and lame. Jeez stalking Anne, I mentioned this when I was talking about him before, but he's literally on the bus following her all the time, just so creepy. There's a scene where Jeez sort of says to Anne, "You sure you want to focus on your homework instead of me?" And I was like, that's a laughable line. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm sure." And he's like, "Well, that's okay. I like to prioritize a girl who likes grades. Please." Anne's a good character. Like I said before, she teaches these kids English, and they sing this song that most people would know, "Oh, when the Saints go marching in, it just did not sound like they were saying saints. I'm not sure what they were saying, but I was like, come on, this is bad. This is probably the worst scene in the film, or the collection of scenes in the film, because Jeeves, he goes over to meet Anne's family, almost asking them permission to take her on a date. And then Anne's there in the other room with all her friends helping her get ready, and Jeeves is with the mum and the dad and the brother, and the mum's like, well, we'll see you off, almost like it's, a proposal for a marriage. And then all her friends come running out screaming. It was so bad, like seriously. And then on the actual date, Jeeves takes Anne to this nice beach restaurant, and he's made sure there's no seafood on the menu because he knows she's allergic and he knows her blood type. All weird. And she's like, should I be afraid of you? And and I'm like screaming at the screen, yes, get the out. He's creepy. Then at the end of this date, Jesus' mum calls him and like, where are you? And he lies, and he says, I'm at a bookstore. And Anne cracks it at him about lying. And then, he needs to explain, and they rush her home, and he sort of tells her about Berlin too. And she's taken aback, and he's like, well, you wanted honesty. And then she storms off. Oh man, just so up and down this relationship. And then we see Anne crossing a street, and she nearly gets hit by this truck. So this then becomes her meet cute with Bayou. That was just so funny. Then we get Anne telling Jeeves that she doesn't want him to have to choose between her and his mum, and then she like sinks into the bath, and I was just like, oh come on, please. Then we get Bayou proposes to Anne on his knees. That was just lame as well. And then the end, like it was just left in the air. Please give us an answer as to what she does. It was so frustrating. All right, so some themes and some ideas in this one. What's the film trying to say? Obviously, family's super important, no matter what family means to you. And there's, like I said, this is all about the importance of lots of things. Like honesty, it's important in a relationship. Like the idea of what's more painful to hear, the truth or a lie, and also the idea of promises and not breaking them. Like don't make a promise if you can't keep it. And the other sorts of things, following your heart and your dreams, and then a little side thing too on the idea of the stigma around artists being poor. Even if music or art is a passion, it is everything about the outside perception and the world's perception, and the idea of your status in society and the idea of wealth. Sort of plays on those ideas, I guess. What did I take away from this film? Jesus' mum, like she is a badass mum who rides him throughout the film. I just found their relationship so hard to believe any of it, because the actors, to me, they looked the same age. It was almost like siblings having a go at each other, so that felt super weird to me as well. All right, IMDb. Sometimes we have a moment where like, oh, did we jump on IMDb to check anything out? This was a Google search for me. There's this little moment where they talk about typhus. I just didn't realise it was such a common thing in Indonesia, I guess. I guess it's not really talked about too much in Australia. I just thought that was an interesting little cultural idea as well. Any other questions, ponderings, ideas? I guess to me, like, is this the 50 Shades of Grey for Indonesia? Is that what this film is? Is that why it's so popular? Is that why the books are so popular? Because it's almost like that. That's what it is. I'd like some answers. If anyone has any answers for me, that would be great, because I'm ready to wrap this one up. We give the film a rating out of 5. For me, the film looks fine. It's made well, but that's about it. The performances are fine as well. I just can't recommend this at all because of how frustrated it made me feel almost. These are just not real life situations that I'm familiar with, so I couldn't connect with it. So that's why I'm coming on it from that end. I'm giving it a 1 out of 5. Pretty low score for me. We're on socials. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, and we have X, formerly known as Twitter. The question for today's episode that I wanted to put on socials was the idea that could a parent be that controlling in the Western world? The idea of Jesus' mum, like, could a mother do that to someone? Like, I just find it, I don't know. It's just one of those cultural things that I just could not understand. If anyone's got any examples, let me know. Other than that, we are back tomorrow. We do have another international film tomorrow. This one's from Spain. So it's the 2021 Spanish rom-com called Crazy About Her, or in Spanish, Loco por Ella. It's directed by Dani de la Orden and stars Alvaro Cervantes and Susana Abetua. Excellent. Let's check that one out tomorrow. Join me if you can. Hopefully you're enjoying this festive season, and I will see you tomorrow.